Hello and welcome to this message from Non-Woke Religion. I am Stephen Eichler. Non-woke religion posts are intended to present practical religious viewpoints that have not been tainted by woke, far-left or progressive politics. Today's topic is the abortion scandal, ending open slather abortion, and the need for rejection of abortion of viable babies after 22 weeks. The policy of killing viable infants in utero after 22 weeks assumes that you can mess with God-ordained life in a selfish, reckless, and morbid way. Quote, early abortion for medical reasons such as deformities and genetic diseases can be justified, but it should happen early. A fetal heartbeat typically starts around 5 to 6 weeks of pregnancy, when cardiac activity can first be detected via ultrasound. However, it is not until about 10 weeks that the heart is fully formed with 4 chambers. A first trimester combined screening test is recommended. This test combines the results of a blood test taken at around 10 to 12 weeks and an ultrasound at 11 to 13 weeks. Additionally, genetic screening can help identify any chromosomal abnormality such as Down syndrome, trisomy 18, or trisomy 13. Detecting these conditions allows early on allows parents to prepare for the challenges they may face and to seek appropriate resources and support. Unquote. There has been a private member's bill titled Termination of Pregnancy or Terminations and Live Births, Amendment Bill 2024, introduced in South Australia. The bill reads, quote, this bill would prevent the termination of viable babies after 7 months. Mothers seeking a termination after 7 months are able to proceed to end the pregnancy, but in a way that does not involve ending the life of the unborn child. There would be no legal obligation for the mother to raise the child. Unquote. The significance of 7 months is that it estimates the point in time at which the fetus becomes a viable infant. If the 7-month-plus fetus is not viable, then it should have the right to palliative care. The independence of these children is the key point here. They no longer need the assistance of the mother, and so the parents should not be permitted to kill that independent human individual. This value stems from our Judeo-Christian Western values. The bill was voted down, but this approach is the first step for non-woke religious people to deal with the open slather abortion that occurs in many places. The argument is that if this in utero child were born now, there is a good chance that it would live given proper hospital and parental care. If the parents do not want the child, then alternatives like adoption are appropriate. They do not have the right to kill that child because they do not want it. The viable child has rights. We all stand for the rights of the individual, and these viable children are such individuals. On the issue of preventing a surviving aborted child from finding out who its biological parents are, you could consider this. If a man and a woman, or perhaps egg and sperm donors for in vitro fertilization, seek genetic counseling, the result could be limited to informing them that they are either compatible or incompatible. There would have to be clearly defined information management parameters for this test, and no mission creep should be allowed. Now, the possibilities for this are that they are siblings, perhaps cousins, or that they carry the same genetic disease, etc. If this information were withheld, then they would not be able to deduce who the biological parents are, and you would avoid having an offspring finding their biological parents and saying you tried to abort me. On the other hand, the child may have a right to know who its parents are. I'm inclined to allow the parents as much privacy as they want and as is possible. There are arguments about the psychological or social state of the mother, often heard, that are used to justify any time abortion. There should be no instance in this type of argument. There should be no instance in which this type of argument is allowed to require that a viable in utero child be killed. Indeed, many potential mothers are emotionally scarred by the knowledge that they killed a viable in utero child. If non-woke religious people work together to influence politicians and give them a way to be more humane than secular public opinion pushes for, then after a victory of this nature, it may be possible to also limit most abortions to the first trimester. That would be fairly workable in a practical sense, but going for the heartbeat rule is less feasible. To be blunt, we should avoid creating lives of physical suffering and pain. We should make balanced decisions that honor the responsibility God has given us to bring healthy children into the world who can live physically comfortable, happy lives. The input of non-woke church and synagogue members on these matters is needed and would be appreciated. We need to warn our people that the abortion of sound, viable children in utero is against God's way. That is all for today. See you again soon. Thank you, and may God bless you.